What's something you found on a partner's phone that instantly changed the relationship forever, but they never knew you saw it? Response 1. His messenger chats with my mom. He jokes with my mom a lot and would always ask about me, what I was like as a kid, why am I so full of energy, and how to take care of me. My mom had cancer and passed away last 2023, but their last messages to each other was him, assuring her he'd take care of me the way she wants to. Reply 1. This thread's comments are all either super wholesome or super effed up, and this is a wholesome one that makes me sad and happy all in one. Reply 2. Wow. I'm glad you have someone there for you like that. I'm so sorry for your loss, but at least your mother knew you were going to be looked after. Reply 3. Well, that went down a very different path than the others. Got a box of tissues if anyone else needs one. God damn. Reply 4. I opened this thread expecting to read stories about cheating or worse. I absolutely did not expect to get teary-eyed on the first comment itself. I am so sorry for your loss. I hope your mother is enjoying heaven, and I wish you and your partner happiness and joy forever and after. Response 2. Notes app with a list of stuff about me. Favorite movies, flowers I'd like to get, shoe size, anything and everything. There were subdivisions like potential gifts to buy, what to do if I'm angry at him, stuff about my seasonal depression and what helps. It was almost 3 pages long, entitled My Love. I fell in love more. It showed he is serious about me and willing to put in effort. Reply 1. I have that with my wife, but it is the topping she likes on her hamburger. Comes in handy when picking up Harvey's on the way home. Reply 2. I used to do that too. I have an incredibly bad memory and hate forgetting the little things. It's not because I don't want to, but it feels impossible. I don't like the look on her face when she sees when I forget or don't remember or I'm not trying. Just know he does this because he really wants this to work out. Reply 3. I've done this a couple times because my ADHD tends to pull switcheroos on me. Was it that she didn't like berries, or was it that she did? So much easier when you have a definitive source. It was also nice for whenever they make offhand comments about something they'd like to buy, it just becomes a running list of gift options. Response 3. Proof that she was cheating. Took a video with my own phone of all the proof. Then confronted her that I knew she was cheating, but didn't tell her how. She confessed to cheating with an entirely different person than what I had proof of. Wild times, laugh out loud. Reply 1. A relative of mine was a school teacher. When a kid was in trouble, he'd sit them down and say, I already know what happened, but this is your opportunity to tell your side. He said he had to train himself to hide his surprise because it almost always resulted in the kid admitting to a bunch of different things besides what they were suspected of. Reply 2. That happens at my work fairly regularly. Whenever I have to formally discipline an associate, I start the conversation with, do you know why we're here today? 98% of the time, they do in fact know why they are there. 1% genuinely didn't know they were doing anything wrong. And the last 1%. My lord. I brought an associate in once to write him up for attendance. He confessed to theft in the low 6-figure range. Another was going to be written up for being caught asleep. He said it was because he cut the brakes on someone's car. Reply 3. A close friend of mine separated from her husband, and he moved into the upstairs apartment in their house. After a year or so later, he became very sick with a rare condition. She cared for him, and he died 9 months later. In that year, he openly became close with a former long-ago classmate she had never previously heard of, and that classmate started staying over with him, etc. My friend was super jealous and hated on her. Fast forward, he died, and she had access to everything of his, and found out that he was totally platonic with that other woman she hated, just close friends. And she found all the videos of him effing someone he had worked with, who was 30 years younger than him, who was often around in plain sight. She never had an inkling. Nothing. Reply 4. Wow, sorry man. This is when we busted our daughter for something and told her we knew what she did, skipped class, and wanted to know who was involved. She admitted to something else altogether, smoking pot. Response 4. A folder with pictures of me, but not pictures on dates or anything, mostly pictures of me making silly faces or sleeping or eating. It showed me that he values me being comfortable and just existing a lot more than being dolled up and perfect constantly. Reply 1. I wish that line of thinking was more common. I have an entire secret folder of photos of my fiancé that she said, "You delete that I'm serious," when I show her the photo I took. Unless it's a perfect photo, lighting, angle, she doesn't like it. Reply 2. I love asking my wife for ugly selfies. She pretty much turns on her front-facing camera, snaps the pic, and sends. No filter, no makeup, no angle, no lighting. Just a raw image. It's my absolute favorite selfie to receive of her. Response 5. Not his phone, but my late husband's tablet. A year after he died, I was clearing his tablet of stuff and saw he had a Twitter account. I was reading through his posts and hit one that had me in tears for the rest of the day. He had responded to some thread about keeping women in their place or some such garbage. Husband had posted a long rant about how being married for 35 years to a woman who never tired of learning, who never let things stop her, stayed interested in new things, was the best thing in his life, and that a smart, thinking woman kept his life interesting and exciting. I always knew he felt this way, but seeing him say this to a total internet stranger in a forum he thought I would never see was just kind of overwhelming for a few days. We were friends for 45 years, best friends for 43 years, married for 37 years. He died 3-1/2 years ago, and the hole in my life is just as big as the day he died. I'm not languishing or yearning to follow him anytime soon, but I miss him tremendously. Reply 1. This is everything. Thank you for sharing even though it hurts. This is what love really is. I'm happy and sad for you. Response 6. I saw my wife keeps an app for reminders for everyone's birthday and significant dates of our relationship. She also has a bunch of photo montages she created of us together. I never question her love and devotion of me. Response 7. Me and my fiancé have a really chill relationship. We respect that phones are private, so we don't snoop, but use each other's phones all the time for stuff like a torch, etc. when we grab whatever's nearest or to Google a number. I was asking about something and he said look it up and passed his phone. I went to Google and it opened his last tab. He was looking at engagement rings. I clicked on another tab and searched on that instead to try to hide that I'd seen it. I never confessed I'd seen it, but Christ. I knew pretty early on I wanted to spend my life with him and we'd had casual conversations, but I'm a natural skeptic. To see that just really solidified in my little worried brain that he wasn't lying when he said he loved me. Reply 1. My algorithm floats between engagement rings and car parts. I can never tell what he is really looking up because we also actively try to mess with each other's algorithms. It's become a game to see who has the weirdest targeted ad from the other person. Edited to ad, he has now messed with my Reddit to now give me updates from random subreddits I've never been to or knew existed. Response 8. She left a Facebook Messenger conversation between her and her friend open on her computer. I'd use her computer when was at class, but it was her complaining how much time I spent at her apartment and that I was smothering her by always being around. I was surprised by this, as she'd have a breakdown and accuse me of abandoning her when I'd leave to stay at my own place for a few days. Reply 1. Trying to appear cool in front of her friend, laugh out loud. I'm totally not clingy, he is, he can't get enough of me. Response 9. Notes keeping track of how long since we last had a fight, when to pick the next one if we haven't had one by then, and potential things to pick a fight about. She didn't believe in a relationship going more than 4 weeks without a fight. Also a list of my passwords she'd managed to uncover. Reply 1. A girl I dated years ago once confronted me about how I wouldn't start fights and that it bored her. She was used to toxic relationships. She got nuttier, and over time we ended up having plenty of fights. She told me to pound sand one day over something trivial. I asked if she wanted to join me for dinner with my roommates. She didn't reply, so I told her I'd catch her afterward. At that point, she did reply and lashed out how I just do what I want and don't care about her, and to not bother speaking to her again. So I complied, and that was that. I was pretty fed up with her and just shrugged it off and had a laugh with my friends at dinner. Apparently I'm single now. I talked to her years later and she conceded she was still in love, and it broke her heart that I didn't go after her. I LOL'd. Reply 2. Reminds me of a guy I was dating and was going to move in with. I trusted him wholeheartedly, so one morning when he came over I told him I had cold feet about moving in together, but I wasn't going to back out, that I loved him just the same, nothing had happened, and that I just had a moment of being unsure, but once again, that I was fine and confident now. He stormed out, blocked me everywhere, and called the leasing office to cancel the apartment lease. I was very confused and distraught, which was made worse when the leasing office emailed me with cancellation info. I tried to call and text him but was blocked, so I emailed and asked what the hell was going on. We discussed what just happened. The next day, he wanted to move in with me again and continue on as usual. I promptly said no thanks. That train had left the station the second he decided to storm out and act irrationally instead of talking to me. Reply 3. Yay, my future ex-def needed fights on the regular. I'm not a fighter, so it drove her bonkers. The attention, even though it was negative, allowed her to feel loved. It was crazy for 35 years. Reply 4. My ex-W told our daughter that she knew it was real love with her affair partner, now husband, because they had real screaming fights. As opposed to her marriage to me, which was calm and drama-free, and therefore, according to the important lesson she wanted our daughter to understand. Loveless. Response. 10 and he handed me his phone when he was driving, so I could text his mom for him. Then, when I unlocked his phone, it opened to a note that was just a list of everything I've ever mentioned that I liked, and it was titled, Gift Ideas. Like one of the items in the list was something I had seen in the window of a shop, and mentioned that I thought it was cute, then we just kept walking. It made me feel so loved to know that he paid attention to every tiny thing. We're married now, laugh out loud. Reply 1. I worked with a guy who'd just buy those things as soon as possible. Not to give as soon as possible, but he always had a couple presents ready for whatever special date he forgot about. Never scrambling on February 13th or when he forgot their anniversary or her birthday or whatever. It was kind of genius, but it was also such an engineer thing to do. See problem? Solve problem. Reply 2. Okay, we're just friends. But when I sat with this girl last year, teachers changed our places. She was a complete stranger. After 9 months, we'd become pretty close friends. And for my birthday, she got me something I mentioned I liked in the very first week we sat together. She knew then that we'd be good friends and had a list of gift ideas for my birthday. Response 11. After a year of remaining moderately stoic, I confided in her about some emotional torment I was experiencing and broke down and cried in front of her. I found a text to her friend a few hours later of how psycho and emotional I was. That was the last time I ever showed any feeling and broke up with her 6 months later. Response 12. A couple months into dating a girl, I was sitting in the passenger seat of her car waiting for her to come back from running inside her house when I saw a text come through on her phone that said, "Happy anniversary, baby. Can't wait to see you tonight." So, yeah, that ended. Reply 1. A friend of mine was in the same boat, and when he went to text the number of the apparently cheated on husband, he found he had already been blocked. She was such an advanced level of cheating that she just preemptively blocked him from texts and social media in case he ever did find out. Response 13. Porn, featuring women with my body type. I little pudgy with a set of heavy naturals. Frankly, it helped me let go of some insecurities and feel more comfortable during intimacy. I finally accepted that when he says he likes me the way I am, he means he likes me the way I am. And I'm here for that. Response 14. I like how half of these are the most wholesome stuff you've ever read and the other half is absolute horror stories. Response 15. Been together since 17, had a gut feeling to check his phone, but he always was guarded when it come to it. He fell asleep one day with YouTube open, looked through his Instagram, and for the past 6 months, he was in a group chat with 2 other people sending each other videos of using the restroom in diapers and exchanging feet pics. All for amounts of money that never exceeded $10. No idea how to even approach this. Response 16. A few years ago, I was adding some items to the Notes app grocery list on my wife's phone. The app opened to the most recent list, which was a copy of her wedding vows with the promises she made to me. Things like supporting my dreams, being my partner in crazy adventures. Besides, each one was a list of ideas to match, including some things we had done recently. We were going through a rough patch at the time, and seeing that list doubled my resolve to work through it. Response 17. I was using his phone when mine had died, and I have a habit of closing apps. He had a million open, and it was driving me nuts. And his Reddit was open. He doesn't post much, just follows and likes a bunch of woodworking and bushcrafting subreddits. But the few posts he commented on were about me. It made my heart feel so happy, I wanted to vomit laugh out loud. My favorite comment was about someone planning Valentine's Day for their partner. And he said something like, "One Valentine's Day." My wife surprised me with a giant blanket fort. She had her parents watch our daughter, bought all my favorite snacks and sushi for dinner, had Lord of the Rings ready to play, and made a pillow nest on the floor inside the fort. Best wife ever. He doesn't have social media and isn't one for writing letters or cards. Doesn't make a big show of his affections for me, so to see him gushing about me online was so. I love that goose. Reply 1. Your story is so sweet, I'm not going to read any more answers to this question. I didn't expect to be pleasantly surprised when I went to view the comments. Response 18. She told her colleagues and friends she divorced me because I was abusive. I wasn't. She didn't. She just wanted to play around in her circle without being judged by pretending she was single. No one ever asked me, I just got blocked. Response 19. Notes app with a title, Must Read. It is a long list of things he should do when we have an argument, as if talking to himself. And it's always followed by a compliment about me. Like one is, ask her for a couple minutes to compose and calm down because you might say bad things you don't mean out of frustration. She's very sweet, understanding, caring. Your baby doesn't deserve to cry. It might be bare minimum to others, but he has always been mentally struggling with dealing with negative emotions. Although we're adults, we're each other's furs. So it's a constant learning, and he's improving a lot, but sometimes he beats himself up for it. Writing this just makes me cry, but I'm so proud of him for going beyond his limits and comfort zone. Reply 1. I don't see this as the bare minimum. I see this as a man who's working hard to ensure you feel safe and loved with him. Constantly striving to grow and be better at recognizing the impact his words/actions can have on those around him. Sounds like integrity and accountability in action. Humans make mistakes. We have bad days and react poorly. Arguments can quickly escalate. But this screams, I'm learning from my mistakes and making specific plans for how to not continue this behavior in the future. Reply 2, that's a man that really cares about you and doesn't want to do anything to avoid messing it up. It's so easy to snap back that we do it automatically sometimes. Early in my relationship with my wife, I was telling her about something she did that I didn't like. I can't even remember what it was now. And she snapped back and said, well, you always do, so-and-so. I said, okay, let's stop for just a minute and finish this conversation. When we finished discussing, not fighting, about what I wanted to talk about, and she saw that I wasn't attacking her, I said, okay, not you said that I always do so-and-so. Let's talk about that. She ended up saying something like, never mind, it isn't really important. That's when she understood that I wasn't bringing things up to fight, but to fix them so our relationship could get even better. We celebrate 16 years together next week. Response 20. I went through my partner's phone after he passed away from cancer last year. I had to find contact numbers for a few friends not on the funeral list we made. In his notes app, I found phrases he used in his letters to me, as we often wrote to each other when he was in hospital, and visiting times were short. English was not his first language, and I hadn't realized how hard he had practiced in order to say what he wanted to say. I sent myself a copy of those notes and look at them often.
Thanks for watching until the end. If you have a similar story to these that you want to share with us, please leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like and subscribe. For more videos like this one right now, please stop by our channel. Thanks again, and see you next time.